Several pro-life candidates claimed victories in primary elections yesterday, the first since Roe versus Wade was overturned. In Utah, Republican Senator Mike Lee defeated two challengers. Lauren Boebert and Mary Miller won their closely watched congressional races in Colorado and Illinois. Meantime, in New York and Illinois, two pro-life Republican candidates for governor also face pro-abortion incumbents. And joining me now to discuss is Tom Bevan, co-founder and president of Real Clear Politics. Tom, welcome back. Always so good to see you. Both Representative Mary Miller and Representative Lauren Boebert won their primaries last night, really by a good margin. What do you think this signals?
Well, I think Mary Miller's race was actually the more significant because she was facing a Republican, Rodney Davis. That was a seat that featured an incumbent versus incumbent because of the seat that Illinois lost to redistricting. She was obviously endorsed by President Trump. Rodney Davis was a five-term congressman, was very well respected in his district, but hailed from the more establishment part of the wing, and clearly voters were more impressed by Mary Miller and her backing of President Trump and his backing of her. So I think that race sort of signals that the party is still very much Donald Trump's party, not just in red states, not just in purple states, but even in blue states like Illinois, even though this was a red district.
Yeah, and these were really the first primaries since Roe versus Wade was overturned. Tom, how much of an impact, if at all, do you think the ruling had on the primaries, and how do you see that playing out in November?
Yeah, it's tough to say that it had judge what sort of effect it had in the primaries because everybody who's running on the Republican side, for the most part, I can't think of a candidate who wasn't pro-life, and everybody on the Democratic side was pro-choice, and so I think it might have more of an impact in the general election. But again, that's still a few months away, and with the economy where it is, with inflation where it is, I suspect that those will still be the top issues when voters make their way to the polls in November. But we'll have to see, if the intensity of the debate, how long that lasts, and how top of mind it remains in the minds of voters.
Yeah, speaking of abortion, the White House is now offering resources to help women get abortions, including a site that shares information with those 15 years old and younger to help them bypass parental notification laws. I'd like to get your reaction to that.
Well, this was actually something that Phil Wegman, our White House reporter for Real Clear Politics, discovered and tweeted out. The White House was sending folks to this particular website, which had this information, this guidance for minors. Look, I think this is one of those. It's an example. It's an instance where Democrats could really overreach on the issue of abortion. These are not popular positions. Most people in America favor some sort of restrictions, particularly after the first trimester. And when you have the White House pushing things like this, when you have people like J.B. Pritzker here, we just mentioned the Illinois governor's race, he is now championing himself, putting him out there as a champion of pro-choice forces, including taxpayer funding for abortions, including no restrictions for minors. I think there's a chance that that's not where the majority of the public is, and so I think Democrats risk overreaching on an issue that they think really benefits them, but it could backfire.
Yeah, for sure. I want to switch gears here slightly, Tom. The Supreme Court reinstated Louisiana's U.S. House of Representatives district map. A judge had previously found that map likely discriminates against black voters. What more can you tell us about this and the court's ruling?
Well, I mean, the ruling just came out, and so obviously there have been legal challenges to redistricting all around the country. In places like Florida, in North Carolina, in New York, for example. This is all part of the redistricting process that took place. It's something where Republicans, Democrats for a while thought they had reached some sort of advantage. Again, the margin in the House that they are defending is very, very small. So they need every possible advantage that they can get. And this is a blow for them because this will actually, if this map, it's reinstated now, it will benefit Republicans and put them in a better position to secure a majority, which they already, pretty much have at this point. If you look at the numbers all around the country, they're in solid shape to take back the House in November. Yeah,
something else I'm going to touch on, too. Some new poll numbers came out this week. For starters, Reuters Ipsos poll has the president's approval rating hovering at about 38%, and an AP NORC poll finds that most Americans think the country is heading in the wrong direction, including about 8 in 10 Democrats. What do you make of those numbers?
So obviously, Democrats are looking at the Supreme Court rulings and thinking the country is headed in the wrong direction. For that reason, Republicans are looking at the Biden administration and thinking the country is headed in the wrong direction. So you have agreement on the fact that the country's headed in the wrong direction, but from different viewpoints and for different reasons. But I think that the big overall takeaway is that Biden's approval, you mentioned 38, it's at 38 in our Real Clear Politics average. That is a new low for him. His disapproval is over 57%. That is a new high for him. And so the administration right now is, instead of turning things around, which is what Democrats need heading into election, the bottom seems to be falling out for the Biden administration. And that is a bad, bad sign for Democrats with the election this close.
Tom, not a whole lot of time left, but curious what else you're following.
Well, I mentioned the Illinois governor's race, and since I'm situated here in Illinois, I mean, this was a real battle. Democrats played in this election to try and get Darren Bailey as the GOP nominee. He won going away very handily. And the question now is whether that was a good plan for the Democrats or a bad plan, whether it's a careful what you wish for. In this kind of environment, even in a deep blue state like Illinois, if the economy, if inflation, keep an eye on this race, because there could be an upset in a deep blue state at the governor's level, whether it's here or whether it's in New York. I think Democrats who tried to manipulate primaries might find some nasty surprises come Election Day.
Okay, we're going to leave it right there. Tom, as always, great to get your analysis. Thanks so much.
Thank you.